president leads multi-stakeholder discussions on Amaila Hydro project. He assures that the project will be saved, argues in favor of cabinet maintaining no objection to contracts, and he commits to local government elections. These and other stories in this week's edition of The Diary, the Government Information Agency program that provides a recap of the highlights of the country's president for the week July 20 to 26. I am your host, Fibin Klaus. Now for the details. A severe blow by the parliamentary opposition to the Amaila Falls Hydro project has not deterred hopes of seeing the project through to the finish. The head of state said his government will do all in its powers to save the hydro project. With the defeat of the hydroelectric bill and the guarantee of loans, public corporations and companies bill, Guyanese will undoubtedly wait much longer before realizing the benefits of cheap electricity. The approval of an Inter-American Development Bank loan was anticipated after a board meeting scheduled for October will give consideration. With the two pieces of prerequisite legislation rejected in the parliament, the realization of the project is uncertain. But in a recent special interview, the head of state assured that it is all not lost.
We are not giving up. We are working feverishly on this issue. We will be doing everything that we possibly can to save the project.
The hydro project promises cheap and reliable electricity for domestic and commercial consumers, significantly low power outage occurrences, and dependence on fossil fuel. Work on the access road to the Amaila Falls project has reached 67%, with a year-end deadline in target.
Part of the reason that we have not been developing as faster than we are at this point in time is the fact that we do not have cheap enough energy so that we can attract investments in processing our agricultural products, so that we can sell more finished products, that we can build a strong manufacturing sector where we can create thousands of jobs for Guyanese, and we can generate a lot more economic activity to take our country to another level of development.
Aside from being privy to documentations and presentations from the experts, the political opposition themselves had a first-hand look at the project and the ongoing infrastructure works. Their motive for withholding support in the parliament was a clear indication that the interest of the nation is not the priority. The president remains open to discussions, but was adamant that the principled way must take precedence.
I hope that the opposition will understand more. I don't know if it's a lack of understanding on their part, but if they still do not understand the positive impact that this will have, again, I'm ready to make available technical staff at the disposal of the government to go through it with them again.
In an International Monetary Fund (IMF) assessment, the hydro project is expected to save the Guyana Power and Light consumers approximately $3.5 billion over a period of 20 years. The notion that the hydro project is too big an investment for Guyana was dismissed by the Guyanese head of state as he addressed a wide cross-section of stakeholders at a consultation forum on July 25. The 165 megawatt power generation facility has an overall cost of approximately $840 million. Under the Build, Operate and Transfer system, Guyana will have complete ownership of the project after a period of 20 years, when all the dues are expected to be repaid.
With this project, that the opportunity here we should not miss is the quality of partners we have with us on this project, the strength of the partners we have on this project.
Critics have pointed to the debt that the country is likely to incur as a result of this project, but for the president, the issue of debt should be the least of concerns.
We're not borrowing on our current side of our budget. We're borrowing on our capital side. We're borrowing to increase our capacity to produce more. We're borrowing to increase our productive capacity, to save money in some instances that we spend now, and on the other hand, that not only to save money that we spend now, but also to increase increase our capacity to earn more.
With the capacity to shift Guyana's reliance on thermal generation to renewable energy, Guyana's commercial and domestic consumers will realize the benefits of cheap energy, the president assured. The hydro project is projected to eliminate an estimated 90% of the country's energy-related greenhouse gas emissions and provide energy production for approximately 90% of Guyana's population. You are watching The Diary. Thanks for tuning in. More features still ahead.
About 190,000 students stand to benefit from government's school uniform program in 2013. Guyana is the only CARICOM country that is providing this form of assistance for its students to ensure all can access education. This initiative caters for students from nursery level to grade 11. The Housing Ministry is expanding its reach to all categories of workers. A 4-stage initiative has been implemented to create opportunities for working professionals from the clerical stage right up to high income. Homes are being offered for as low as $4.9 million. This is a part of the ministry's quest and firm determination to better living standards of all citizens, as government seeks to ensure all Guyanese are proud homeowners.
The Amaila Falls Hydropower Project is the medium and long-term strategy for the country's electricity sector. It is where cheap and reliable energy will be derived for consumers both at the domestic and household levels. Guyana could become a nation taking the lead globally for renewable power and build investor confidence. Financial closure with the Inter-American Development Bank is within reach, and preparatory works on the long stretch of road to the Amaila Falls site have gone a far way. The support of all stakeholders is critical to the success of this important project.
Guyana has received the much-deserving United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization FAO award for having attained the Millennium Development Goal number 1 and the goal set by the 1996 World Food Summit for halving the absolute number of hungry people by 2050. At an award ceremony in Italy, FAO's Director General Dr. Jose Grazio da Silva said that Guyana had achieved by year-end 2012, 3 years in advance, the target for the number of undernourished people. The government of Guyana has pledged to continue investing in agriculture, expanding safety nets and social assistance programs, along with enhancing income-generating activities to improve the food situation. This is testimony to the efforts of the government to ensure a better life for all Guyanese.
The head of state has argued in favor of cabinet maintaining its no objection role in the award of contracts amidst call by the political opposition for it to be abolished, as the members tout the Public Procurement Commission. Once approved, the contract is submitted to the cabinet for a no objection after scrutiny, examination and recommendations by experts at the National Procurement and Tender Board Administration. The board, comprising of about 15 technical experts from a diverse range of professional backgrounds, came into being after the passage of the Procurement Act of 2003 in the National Assembly. Cabinet's role in the process is minor, according to the President in a recent interview, and the call for its involvement in the process to be abolished is unreasonable.
The Cabinet of Guyana has the least power when you compare it with the rest of the Caribbean, and for that matter probably with the rest of the Commonwealth, or most of the Commonwealth. Where the other governments got, the Cabinet got the power to award contracts. All we are doing is saying that the government should have a no objection in that regard.
Calls for the establishment of the Public Procurement Commission stemmed from accusations of corruption by the political opposition about the awarding of contracts. In the ongoing dispute about the Public Procurement Commission, the political opposition ransomed the financial crimes legislation, even as the country faced being blacklisted by the international community. The government has, however, defended the current procurement system as the most transparent and open.
If I could just tell you that what we have introduced into this country when we came into the government, that did not exist. Actually, procurement or projects, nothing was advertised. It was just decided by the then government. I either the then president or the cabinet. Auditor General's report were not made. The Auditor General was not allowed to do his work.
Under the Procurement Act, Cabinet can request that the tender board review and approve the award, and in other instances, a bidder can object with probable reason if the contract goes to another. Justice Rabi Shankar Sukul was on July 26 sworn in as a new Justice of Appeal after taking the oath of office before President Donald Ramotar. He brings with him 25 years of legal practice in the United Kingdom and will add this to the local jurisprudence.
I intend to apply the principles, legal principles, apply law and logic and good, sound, objective judicial reasoning, which I've learned and practiced in the United Kingdom.
In a brief charge to the newly appointed Justice of Appeal, President Ramotar, who has often been bemoaning the heavy backlog of cases facing the judiciary over the years, expressed the hope that his duties reflect fairness and expeditiousness. The president is saying that it is not the lack of political will on the part of his administration that local government elections were not held in Guyana, and he expressed hope for the passage of the 4 bills that are currently pending in the National Assembly. For close to 2 decades, Guyana has not held local government elections, and an ill-timed attempt by the political opposition to pass the 4 key pieces of legislation to clear the way for the process adds to the list of cause factors. The bill includes the Fiscal Transfer Bill 2012, Municipal and District Councils Amendment Bill, Local Government Amendment Bill, and the Local Government Commission Bill. The president has, however, assured that he is just as determined as other stakeholders to facilitate the holding of those elections.
We wanted to have local government elections on a regular basis. The only reason we didn't have it after 1994 is the fact that it coincided with the general elections in 1997. And in the aftermath of that election, there was not even an elections commission left in place. So the elections could not have been held. The next elections commission was set up to run the 2001 elections, the Joe Singh Commission. And after that, that commission also went out, and a new one had to be set up, which took some time to have it established. In the meantime, the constitution was rewritten. We have a new constitution rewritten by the broadest type of consultation that they had, but the widest possible participation. And that constitution said that we should have the next time we have local government elections, it should be on a different basis to what we had in 1994. But they didn't flesh it out. Okay. So that was left to negotiations. The negotiations took quite a long time.
The head of state also sought to set the record straight on some of the factors that prevented the holding of local government elections, as he chronicled the series of events that followed the 1994 local government polls.
We were the ones who brought back local government elections in Guyana. And the fact that we don't have local government elections now had nothing to do with the lack of will on our part to have these local government elections. We wanted to have it like yesterday. And I know that it is badly needed in the society, because many of the problems we have, I think, is due to the fact that we didn't have local government elections.
With the new composition of the parliament that followed the 2011 elections, it was also noted that positions that were initially agreed to suddenly changed. The president said he is prepared to make compromise, especially with regards to the establishment of the Local Government Commission. Berbice Expo, organized by the Central Quarantine Chamber of Commerce, was declared open on the evening of July 26 by the Guyanese head of state. The event is considered one of the premier business, cultural and social undertaking in the ancient county, and was this year being celebrated under the theme Raising Our Standards, Enhancing Our Competitiveness. The 9th annual event was opened with much advocacy for Guyana stepping up in standards.
We have to ensure that we have the right infrastructure in place so that we can raise production and productivity. We can become more competitive We can earn more for our products by having value added.
A deepwater harbor built for establishment in Berbice and the Guyana-Brazil road linkage were seen as investments necessary to up the promotion of trade in goods of large quantities and value. Hydropower, which the government has vowed to complete in the midst of strong political opposition, was also highlighted as a key feature to improving standards in the Guyanese economy.
You have the ability here to develop an agro-industrial complex, to turn your agricultural raw materials into finished industrial products. To do so, the hydropower station is extremely important.
The region prides itself as a hub for agriculture promotion and development, but has also recognized and has been facilitating an environment for growth in the private sector. Well, that's all in this week's edition of The Diary for the period July 20 to 26. The highlights before we go: the President leads a multi-stakeholder discussion forum on the Myla Hydro project. He said it will be saved. He argues in favor of Cabinet maintaining its no objections to contracts and said he is committed to local government elections. Do join us again next week when we'll bring you more. I am your host, Fabian Krause. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe and a pleasant rest of the week.